10%, 15% of the people will get results without any training because they are good learners or they have good intuition on how to use the tool. But for the other 85% of the people, you should train and probably they stick to the basics. But you should train them. That's very important.
Definitely. The way I look at it, we have had ChatGPT in our hands for 3 years and 3 months. And they figure that still 90% of AI users are not using it correctly or proficiently. So if they haven't figured it out in 3 years, let's just give them some of the training, move on. Hey, are you AI ready? Most businesses and professionals aren't, and a seismic shift is 12 to 18 months out. The preparation starts now. The Are You Ready AI podcast brings you weekly conversations with the strategists, specialists, and industry leaders who understand what AI readiness actually requires and what you need to be doing about it. Welcome back to the Are You AI Ready podcast. And today we're going to be speaking with Aldo Lares. One of the things I want to preface that with is some stats from McKinsey. McKinsey, which, in case you weren't sure, in case you didn't know, was the global management consulting firm, found that companies achieving dramatic success with AI are 3 times more likely to have redesigned their processes before implementing anything. And today, Aldo, who is a Microsoft architect and a process redesign specialist, is going to tell us exactly what that means and what's involved. Aldo, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. How are you doing?
So I'm doing great. And I'm excited to talk about this because I think the whole thing of redesigning your processes and re-examining them is something that most people don't have top of mind when they think AI. They think we're just going to invest in magic.
That's correct. One of the things that I really like about your podcast is that is the title. I mean, is AI ready? Yes or no? Because you're not talking about how to do it on the first. And I think that that's going to be a very good part of our talk today. So thank you for having me here.
Well, I'm very appreciative of your expertise that you're bringing to this because I know that you work with companies and teams all the time doing this and other things, but this is your current focus. So critical for this. So let's start with the basics, just for our listeners. What is process readiness? Okay, this is a bit of a triple header. What is it? And where does it fit into the larger picture of AI readiness? And why is it something that so many organizations don't realize they need to address?
Yeah, well, one of the things that you should know is that one of my biggest areas of expertise is the technical side. I'm a solutions architect, and that means that when companies or organizations or people over there try to do something, let's not talk about the AI this moment, but when they are trying to do something with technology, they look for someone like me, someone who can say, this is how you connect the pieces and you can make your final project to work and to become a reality, right? Probably for the last 3 years, let's say so, every conversation that I have, every conversation is how do I put the AI in whatever the problem is. And the thing is that most of the organizations out there, most of the companies, most of the people, most of the professionals working with that technologies are looking for how do I put AI? How do I have like a salt shaker? How do I put these little grains of AI on whatever the project it is?
Great description. Sprinkle the AI on.
Yeah, it's like magic everywhere, right? You can sparkle the magic. So one of the things that I try to work with them is to first understand the why. Why do you want to do that? What are you looking to get? What are you looking to fulfill? And in most of the cases, the why is not as clear as the I want AI statement at the end of the discussion, right? So having this in mind, I am trying to have this conversation with them or guide the conversation to more what are we looking to do and how is the process to get that specific project done instead of let's put AI on everything. AI can help us a lot, but if you sparkle that AI on the project, you probably have some really fast project with AI, but that cannot solve the problem root cause, right?
Yeah. Is it successful? Probably not.
Yeah. So this is why I'm trying to get that conversation to the part of what are you trying to do? Let's understand the problem so we can have a solution that might or might not have AI. Probably most of the times it will have AI because it helps us a lot to make the process faster. But let me understand how we can get this done.
That's right. Very cool. So how is it that they're overlooking this? Is it the sprinkle magic fairy dust thing that just makes them think like, yeah, I guess it's a widespread lack of understanding that
Mhm.
this has to integrate with your current
Yeah.
processes or your current processes need to change.
Yeah. And most of the origin of this part is because they are not like they don't control the whole process itself, but they have this indication probably from an executive level that say, I want AI in my process because I went to a conference, I went to a some event and say AI is the future, AI is the present, and I want to have AI. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of AI. I don't know because I do need AI on my process, but I want it. And it's like a chain. So the executive pass it to the managers, the manager to the people that will do the process and say, I want AI because my boss say so. So that is
Oh,
pretty interesting when you say live in the organization.
wow. So no one really has an idea of like exactly why we're doing it or how or what or no context, just we know we want it. Wow. So that kind of leads me to finally getting around to asking you, because I've heard you speak of it, if I have it correctly, process brutality, which
Process
I don't know
brutality,
why.
yes.
That's a fascinating term. And so I'm going to turn the floor over to you because I think that's going to resonate with anybody who has looked honestly at how their organization actually operates. So, what is process brutality and what does it actually reveal?
Yeah, well, process brutality trademark at the end.
Okay.
uh,
Okay. That's your term. All right.
yeah, I will do something with that term someday. But the thing is, as I said before, the organizations are pretty focused on what is the top ingredient of AI? What is the thing that you will put as a topic on the top? But most, probably 90% of the solution is not on the tool, it's on the process and the talent who make that process possible.
So, the
So
process and the talent.
that's
Okay.
correct. The tools are, I mean, you have these three elements: the process, the talent, and the tools, the technology, the whatever you use
Yep.
on the top. But if you dig a little bit down in the process, you will find that probably you don't need AI assist. You need to understand where is the point where you should use your best AI tool
Mhm.
to focus on the solution. So I came with this term, this process brutality term, in which the formal definition of brutality is when you use excessive force to achieve something. I
Okay.
mean, there's a lot of bad situations out there with the brutality part involved.
Brutality.
Yeah, but in the process context is you can solve any problem using whatever the tool, whatever the technology that you probably think of, but
Mhm.
probably you're brutalizing that process because you're using like a cannon to kill just a little fly, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
instead of being tool focused, we are trying to make more process focused and understand the process and make the process vulnerable on that part. I mean, every step of the process should be able to defend itself in the whole process context. Because if that specific component, that specific step cannot make its own on the final resolution line, having in mind the goal of this process, probably you're overthinking the process and over engineering the process. And if you put AI or wherever the tool on the top of that, you will have this mechanical craziness,
Mhm.
uh, like probably not automated, but pretty um, like not lubricated with the mechanism of this engineering. So in process brutality, the first thing that we are trying to do is understand why are we doing this, and then why is every step involved in the current process, in the real process, the process that is doing the people out there, not the process in the paper and the documentation, the process that is doing the real people in the real organization, and
Okay,
try
let me
to
stop you
understand.
there for a second. So do
All
you
right.
find that when you go into an organization, they have their paper version of what their processes are, and then they have their real version of what their processes are?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
In 1993 or 1994, I think, there came out a movie that it's called Jurassic Park,
Mhm.
and one of my favorite quotes of that movie is "Life finds a way." So every time that you can define your process in paper and you can have it really well documented, but at the end of the day, people is going to execute that process. And if you think about the people, they will look for shortcuts to make this process, not the processing paper, but the process that they should do, the delivery they have to get. They look for shortcuts or ways to be better at this process. So at the end, there's probably one step between the process that you have in paper and the process that people is doing out there in
Okay.
real
All
life.
right. Another question about that. That's fascinating. Okay. So Jurassic Park, life finds a way. So it was designed on paper. We have these processes. Nice. The people who actually have to do it realize that if I just do it this way, this way, this way, it makes it easier, better.
Mhm.
Is this then if we, and I might be getting ahead of myself, but if we go in and we redesign the processes for that efficiency with AI, okay, let's revisit that. Are they going to do that with the AI thing? Okay. So people have already tweaked or changed, modified the processes from the paper version to their version. So, all right. So you've got to get in there and figure out what are they actually doing? How do you do that?
That's hard work most of the time. You have to have conversations with the people that it's involved in the process, but also you have to have this conversation not just with the people that is doing the process, but with the people that wants the result of the process. Because if they don't have this specific guide of where they should point or shoot to get this the better outcome of the process, they will
Hmm.
try to. I mean, they will try to do some shortcuts or retrace some paths on the process, but they have to have this guide in which the final outcome is this is what I want, this is why I'm doing this process, and the people should be aligned to that. So you have to talk with people in much levels, the people who do the process, who supervise the process, who design the process, and who wants the final outcome for probably for other process, a bigger process or a macro process on the top of that.
So it sounds like the original problem where they have the paper version of how it works and then the version that people actually do, that sounds like, I'm guessing, a top-down decision, like, oh, this is how it's going to be. And then it's like, well, no, this is how it works.
This is
So
how it's
in
gonna
what
be,
you're doing, you
or
bring everybody into the room so that you're capturing the the desires, the aspirations of what they want it to be, and then the reality of what it is now.
and most of the time, besides of this is how you should do it, is this is how we've been doing for the last 20 years, and we're not gonna change that because it's a 20 years old process, so it's pretty mature on that side. But even mature process in real life can be or might be needed to be adjusted to incorporate AI into and have a good quality results with AI within that process.
Ooh, sounds like there's a bit of change management coming into that as well, convincing people
Yeah.
that we need to actually alter the way you're doing things. I know it's been 20 years, but
Yeah, and now you have this conversation about the machines are coming to get our jobs. So when you say now it's going to be a little bit of change and a little bit of this to incorporate AI and make the process better,
yeah,
most of the people have this resistance to say, I don't want to be replaced by AI. And that is not the final objective. The final objective is to they have more time to do real tasks
yeah.
that actually present value to the process, not just doing some repetitive tasks or some things that are not using the people potential at best.
Exactly. I got into a conversation on LinkedIn the other day about, this whole thing of like, oh, AI is just going to replace me. Any company that just has the goal of simply replacing people so they can use AI to do the same old processes and get the same old mediocre results that they got 3 years ago, 5 years ago, that's so unambitious. Put in those AI processes, have your people trained and comfortable with them, and then how much more are you producing? How much more is each person actually bringing to contributing to the bottom line of the company? So
That's
it's
actually, yeah,
go ahead.
it's like the top, like the final part of the process brutality is you should retrain the people and making like permanent trainees. So they
Mhm,
are always looking for new things and are always learning new things because we're talking about AI now, but before it was a rather process automation, it was big data, it was a lot of technology, and probably we will change the buzzword of the technology in a couple of years. Probably we're not talking about AI, we're talking about quantum or something like that.
mhm.
But they should be adapting and they should be learning. That they should be. I mean, it's for all of the steps of the organization. Everyone should be in this permanent training mindset so they can move with the organization.
Strategic AI capability. That's what separates professionals who stay relevant from those who don't. The strategic AI intensive builds that capability in just 5 sessions over 9 days, using hands-on experiential learning. No brain-numbing tech lectures, just AI for what matters most for you. One graduate called it a year's worth of progress in just 5 sessions. Find out if it's the right fit for you at intensive.ofcoursepro.com.
That actually then just answers the question that I left for later, which was, how do you stop people from retweaking your new AI processes? If they're part of the development of it and they have that ongoing training and they feel part of it and they can identify additions or improvements that could be made, they're not going to tweak it unless it's really actually does improve it. That's brilliant.
And they should have the understanding of what the AI is doing in the process, because for most of the people, for most of the regular people, AI is like a magic thing that you probably can type in your keyboard and they will answer magically how you
Yeah.
can do things. But if they understand what is happening behind, they don't have to do like real experts on that part. But if they understand what the AI is doing in the process, probably
Yep.
they receive better the AI and they can propose better things for incorporating to the newer versions of the process.
Yeah, exactly. My vision of it is if they are able to listen to what you're saying, listen to what's being proposed, and then have enough AI fluency to go off and kind of do their own analysis of it and see where they fit in it and come back with intelligent inputs to the conversation,
Mhm.
that just makes everything better. But
Yeah,
yeah, you
because
don't want to have them uneducated, untrained.
nowadays, I mean, I have a conversation with C-level of every size of organization that you might
Hmm.
think of, from very small to big companies, big
Hmm.
corporatives out there. And even the high executive layer, probably they think of AI, it's changing now, and they are having more information on that and more knowledge on that. But at the beginning, it was, I think that the AI can make everything. If I just type, give me more money, they will start bringing money and they will send you back the package or something like that. That was like the understanding of the AI at the first. But I think that we're becoming more literate on that, and that help us, everyone in the organizations and the suppliers or the technology leaders, to get up to a better point where we can understand what we can achieve using good AI, not just using AI, uh, just for using it.
So do you find, since you've been doing this for 25 years in various, well, not with the AI necessarily, but going in and helping companies make that transition to a new digital transformation wherever they want to be, are you finding that the C-suite still feel that, no, it's a tech thing, so we don't have to involve everybody? Do you have to almost re-educate them on the necessity for this inclusion of everybody from the decision maker all down, right down to the person who actually uses the processes?
Yeah, that is fair. Let me tell you an old story. Once upon a time, probably like 20 years ago, something like that, I was working with a company that makes software for quality management system. It was a great software. It was pretty good. And we were very involved in the quality process of their companies that we deployed the software in. And at one of these companies, we have this metric for the maintenance people that say you should take no more 1 day to attend every ticket, every request that you have on your site for the maintenance people. Okay. And the people on the plant, on the actual workshop, they have this metric and say, if you find something that is not good, that can be improved or that can be fixed, this is like a form you can allow to request that to, let's say, maintenance in this case. And the executive people were wanting to have this dashboard in which they wanted to have all in green, all the buttons, all the little dots on the dashboard, they were looking to be green. What does that mean? I don't know, but it should be green, because it's not green is bad for us, right? And the thing is, I was probably, I don't know, 6 months inside with that company, and and they were in at the place where I was working. There was a lamp just above me, and this lamp was like flashing, like tickling.
Yeah.
But the first day that I get there, it was this flicking thing of the light, and I said, "Can somebody fix the lamp because I'm going crazy with this change of light?" Hey, don't worry. They requested, maintenance get it, and less than 1 day after the request, the lamp was fixed. So check in the process, right?
Hmm.
Probably 3 weeks after that point, the lamp was flicking again. And I said, can you help me to request this fix again? And they requested, and in less than 1 day, they fixed the lamp, and it was working pretty good for the
Mm-hmm.
second time. And that happens probably 7 times in the time where I was there.
What?
But when I see that a specific dashboard, that is a dashboard that it was used by the people, by the executive. When I say that dashboard, it says that maintenance was pretty good on the records, because it was every time that they have a request, they attended in less than 1 day. The thing is, they never solved the problem from the root. They were just like moving the light or trying to some smacking solution and trying to get that done.
Pick the box.
Instead of thinking, why is this lamp flicking and flicking again over and over again? So probably if you're not, if you don't have all the steps involved in the process, you will get this flicking lamp, but the green dashboard at the end. You will have I did the part of the project that I have to do, and it was faster because I just say, yeah, check, but I don't have any real results for the business at the end of the day.
Wow.
You get that?
Wow. That's a great story to take into the new client that you're talking to. So they really kind of sink into that idea of, we need to change your processes. I'm curious, when you go into the average company, what does that look like? Do you find you talk to everybody now, from the C-suite down to the people who designed it, planned it, use it? How much of their system usually is in need of total redesign? And how long does that take?
Probably if you pursue the state of the art, all of the process need to be redesigned every time, no matter when you read that statement, right?
100%.
But yeah, 100% every time, because you always have new technology, new people, new talent, new ideas. So the process can be improved every time. That's the better understanding of continuous improvement. But
Right.
that doesn't mean that you have to do it all at once and all at the same time and all the complete process. That's why I'm talking. That's why I like to talk about process brutality, because you don't have to do this brutality to the whole process. You just need one little step of process or 2 or 3 micro steps into that process, and that's the one that we want to work with. And once we understand the whole process, we can say, if we tweak this little part, this just 2 or 3 steps within the process, and use AI and use tools and use the talent and use the process and use the people and use everything that you have in your ecosystem, you will have better results on that. So that's probably the base of brutality. You don't have to do it like a hacksaw all at once.
Mhm.
You probably want to have better like an exact knife, like just a little piece, take it out and replace with a new better step for that. So you need the whole understanding of the goal, but you have to be very careful about the details.
So are you able to provide an organization almost with a roadmap? Like, step one, there's all of this needs doing, but we don't need to do it all now. But the critical things right now are A, B, and C. And in so many months, or I don't know what the time frame would be, with AI, everything's sped up. So I'm assuming it's much shorter time frames than in the past. We're going to get to this, and it's kind of sequenced by priority and a hierarchy, so that you've got a plan and they have a plan and expectations for what this is going to be.
Yeah, well, probably that depends on the level of maturity of the organization and the process and the results that you get from it. Because have you ever heard about this 99.9999999% that the cloud is up and running for everyone?
Right.
It's 11 nines after the point right now.
Wow.
So, but if you want to add one more 9, probably that you had to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on that just to guarantee that extra 9. So where is the limit? Probably that's decided by the business. You can work on the 80-20% rule. So you will find for the 20% of the items or the actions or the improvements that give you the 80% of the value. And probably you do one iteration or probably 2 iterations, depends on how valuable is the process improvement for you. Because it doesn't matter if you have the better process out there and you have this shiny metal process that you can brag about it with everyone, if the process is not doing the best for the business. So you have to have this balance between how much do I want to spend? Nothing money. It's people, it's time, it's investigation, research, all of those things. Compared to how many value will I get from that improvement in the process.
I have a question about companies who may be seduced by well, so much of what we're
Yes.
hearing is seduced by the vendors of platforms or of AI solutions
Mhm.
that are not like big enterprise, like say Microsoft or Salesforce or something, but like, oh, if you use our AI product, you are now AI ready.
Mhm.
And it seems like, wow, how cool is that? But from my point of view, I look at it and I think, no, you're just sticking your tool in on top of a whole bunch of other processes. And who knows how well that fits? And actually, does anybody in the organization now, are they actually more AI proficient just because they're using your platform? No. Do you come across
Must
that when you're talking to people or companies?
that yeah, I come across with that pretty often. Very I mean, it happens more than I would like to admit, but it happens a lot. And I really like the word that you just used because most of the companies at the very beginning of the adoption of AI, they're not looking to fulfill or to solve or to be better at anything with AI. They just want to stand. They just want I want this AI. I want to put in my website that I am using AI or that I am an AI company. So probably for them, within taking much in consideration, they can use a product, they can incorporate something out of the box and say, I am ready. And that's probably the level one of adoption, right? But once you get into this, like the drugs, once you pass the first stage, you have to be more deeply involved into the AI adoption. You can look for the AI adoption framework in Microsoft. It's pretty easy to explain, and this
Mhm.
is what we use to show the companies where they are and what they should be doing in that process. But another buzzword in this tech environment is the governance. And
Yes.
now that you have now you have AI, then what? You have to be pretty sure about how you are governing this AI process within your actual ecosystem. Because probably you're doing your thing with the AI, but you're not taking into consideration where is your information going after you use that AI product, right? So it's
Hmm.
part of something that it's going to modify your process back again, and you should think about this continuous cycle of AI adoption.
Full admission here. What actually
Mhm.
inspired the name of my podcast was that over the last probably three-quarters of a year, I have seen a number of presentations or pitches that is, are you AI ready? Do you want to get AI ready? And the solution, of course, is buy our product. Just buy
Mhm.
our product, plug it in, and the fairy dust will be sprinkled, and you will be AI ready. I always imagine that, and somewhere in a few months or maybe in a year, you either go forward with this mess
Mhm.
or you have to deconstruct and start over. So for a company that is not of a size that they want to necessarily invest in a large enterprise solution, what do you recommend for them? Should they just go with a platform or should they speak to someone like you and at least get some advice on the best way forward? What do you
Yeah,
think?
probably the best thing is to get an advice of people that is more involved into the organization, let's say industry, and the actual technology that is working for real companies out there. And probably the best thing to start is to have how you can get most of the companies, most of the organization, the most people that you can involve into give them some AI tool like, let's say Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, whatever the flavor is. I'm gonna say
Mm,
Microsoft Copilot because
being
all
Microsoft
Microsoft.
yourself.
Yeah, but probably that's the best and the first thing that you have to do because it's pretty easy to integrate into your ecosystem and have a really good governance on that. But
Yeah.
it allows the people to ask things
Yep.
to some AI tool that it's governed under your ecosystem. So that's probably the first step. And the second step, and it's
May I interject there? I had an interesting conversation with Hector Ocariz all
that's
about
right.
security. And one of the
Mhm.
things that he drove home was how necessary it is. Don't just tell your people to use ChatGPT, buy them a license and
That's
probably
correct.
give them some training so they know what the hell they're doing. When you say you tell people to get, is that part of what you tell your
Yeah.
organizations and make sure they're paid licenses?
Yeah, totally. Because you have to be aware of that the people it's going to share a lot of information with these AI tools, and most of the people don't have these AI, not say these cybersecurity foundations on the
Mhm.
back of their back. So you have to be very careful about where they're going to share this information. So that's why I say probably you should you should look for some tool that you can integrate into your ecosystem, not just because people can use ChatGPT for free, and they are probably, if you're not paying for some product, you're the product. So
Exactly. Exactly. And they're using it
so
on their own personal phones. Oh, what a
yeah,
disaster.
yeah, and
So,
then you will have the leak of information. And I'm totally with the idea of Hector that probably 10%, 15% of the people will get results without any training
mm,
because they are good learners or they have a good intuition on how to use
yep,
the tool. But
yep,
for the other 85% of the people, you should train and you should
yep,
say this is the basic, and probably
hmm
they stick to the basics.
yep.
But you should train them. Yeah, it's very important the
Definitely.
training.
Definitely. The way I look at it, we have had ChatGPT in our hands for 3 years and 3 months. And they figure that still 90% of AI users are not using it correctly or proficiently. So if
Mhm.
they haven't figured it out in 3 years, yeah, let's just give them some of the training, move on.
Mhm.
But yeah,
And probably you should have different levels of training. The first one is
yes.
the basic one on how to use the basic tool so you can get the basic results. But you should probably think about the roles or the kind of activities
Mhm.
that you are willing, you as just an expert, uh that there's some mysterious and mysterious like being over there that
Yes.
it's called the Council of AI or the Committee of AI in the
Right.
organization. And
Yes.
this committee or this council should be uh, integrated by experts of their own
Like
areas of
domain
expertise.
experts. Yeah.
Yeah,
hmm
domain experts with AI acknowledgement. So
Right. Now, do they
you,
carry the whole team? Do they carry the whole company? Are they the only ones with the AI expertise?
no, they're not the only ones, but you should look for people with that initiative, with that knack that you wanted to explode, because they are probably will be doing the guides of how to use AI for every role in the organization. So
hmm
they have to be acknowledged of what the role is and what the limitations are. And probably you should bring people from outside to say, this is not the domain expert, but this is the AI expert, and he
Yep.
knows the tools or she knows the tools, and they can help you to get a better deployment of AI into your organization, not just by buying things and expecting to work pretty good in your process, right?
Hmm. It's so interesting in this conversation. As every time I talk to you, Aldo, we always start on
Mhm.
the one thing, and the process I think is critical here. But it's really becoming apparent how it's not an isolated silo thing. It's not like, okay, take care of your process. It's connected to your governance. It's connected to your security, to the training of your people. It's all integrated. What would be one thing if people are looking at the whole puzzle? Because I think there's a lot of other things in the list of what is AI readiness that are more eye-catching. What is the one thing that you always have to bring your clients back to make them realize, no, this whole thing of the processes, we got to get that right.
Yeah, well, it's probably the spirit of the process, because every process and every part of the process will have different outcomes to
Mm,
different roles, and you have
mhm,
to understand that processes are not just a straight line, and they're probably more like a branches on that line.
mm,
So once you realize that, you can decide whether AI or not AI is the best thing to do in that specific part of the process, or if you want to get a deep dive involved in AI, what process can be replaced by agents or by some kind of scripts or APIs or something more technical on the back.
yep.
But probably if you don't lose the track of the spirit of the process, what is the goal, the main goal on the process? That is that gives you the best results in your organization.
Mm. So if somebody, a business owner, a business, somebody in the C-suite, a leader was listening to this and they were thinking, okay, I really do need to get happening with this AI readiness around processes. What would you say is the first concrete action they should be taking
Yeah,
starting now and for the next however long it takes, a month, 2 months, 3 months?
probably the first thing is do not ask for AI. Is ask for a result, ask for an outcome, and let the people look for the AI that fits better for that part of the process, but to not,
The people within your organization?
yeah, yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah, because if you ask for AI, they will give you AI, and you will have AI. Then, but the process, probably the process is not looking for AI, it's looking for something like a specific outcome. So you should ask for that outcome and let the people and the process and the talent and the technology work together to give you that outcome. Probably
Hmm.
that's the step zero.
Okay.
Mhm.
That is great advice. And I would say also, connect with Aldo and see what he can tell you about this, because you are one of the most knowledgeable people I have spoken to, especially with your rootedness there, but your vast experience in all of the connected areas of AI readiness. This was exactly the kind of conversation I wanted to have today. But also, I think it's the kind of conversation that listeners need to hear, because there's so many words being spoken and sentiments and grand statements, but ultimately people need to know, what should I be doing now? And you've given us so much fantastic information about that, Aldo. So to anybody listening, if this conversation made you think differently about what AI readiness actually requires, there is more coming in every episode. Definitely subscribe to the podcast, but also reach out to Aldo. Yeah, subscribe below or whatever platform you're on. Uh, every episode is going to bring you another voice and another dimension, another piece of this puzzle that we're all grappling with right now. And I just want to say, Aldo, thank you so much for being here today and sharing. And I know we're going to be talking again, because as I said, your expertise in this goes so far beyond even just processes. But I'm so grateful that you shared with me today.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm always happy to be with you.
Fantastic. Talk to you soon. Bye.
So, bye.